There's a glass of water near you right now. You'd drink it without boiling it, without filtering it, without a second thought. That instinct feels ancient. It isn't. For almost all of human history, trusting a glass of water was one of the fastest ways to die. Not from war, not from famine, but from the exact liquid your body needs most to survive. In August 1854, London's Soho district learned this the hard way. Within 10 days, 616 people dropped dead within a few blocks of each other. Entire families vanished. Within 48 hours of their first symptoms, cholera doesn't kill slowly, it empties the body of fluid so fast that a healthy adult loses up to 20 liters a day through vomiting and diarrhea. Skin turns blue-gray. Doctors called it the Blue Death. A physician named John Snow lived nearby. Unlike his colleagues, he didn't believe the dominant theory of the era. Miasma. The belief that disease spread through bad smells. Snow started mapping deaths, house by house. A pattern emerged instantly. The deaths clustered tightly around a single water pump on Broad Street. Snow traced the outbreak to its source. A baby at 40 Broad Street, whose mother had washed soiled diapers in water, then dumped that water into a cesspool sitting less than a meter from the well wall. The wall had cracked years earlier. He took his map to officials and asked for one thing: remove the handle from the Broad Street pump. They did. Cases dropped. Within weeks, they put the handle back on. The medical establishment still refused to believe water could carry disease. Snow died in 1858, still defending a theory almost nobody accepted. Robert Koch finally isolated Vibrio cholerae under a microscope in 1883. Snow had been right for 29 years with no proof. And the proof arrived 25 years too late. But here's the brutal correction the history books usually get wrong. You've heard the claim that ancient people drank beer and wine instead of water? Because alcohol killed the germs. That claim is dangerously oversimplified. Beer in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia was typically 1 to 3% alcohol. Modern food scientists have tested that concentration against Vibrio cholerae and E. coli. At that strength, alcohol alone doesn't reliably kill them. The real protection came from an earlier step: boiling. Brewing requires heating grain and water together. Making tea requires boiling water first. Humans were unknowingly sterilizing their water through heat. The alcohol, the caffeine, the flavor came along for the ride. To understand why we ever bothered with that effort, you have to go back deeper. Not to 1854, to the forest floor. 10 million years ago, a small primate in Africa picked up overripe fruit that had fallen and fermented. Yeast had turned natural sugars into ethanol. The alcohol killed bacteria that would have made the fruit deadly. The buzz felt good. Over millions of years, that preference wired itself into your brain. The scent of ethanol meant calories and survival long before humans existed. Fast forward to 13,000 years ago. Archaeologists excavating the Rakafet cave near Haifa, Israel, found stone mortars carved into bedrock. Residue analysis revealed soaked, germinated, and fermented wheat and barley. The Natufians who lived there were hunter-gatherers. They had not invented agriculture yet. They were brewing beer before they knew how to plant the ingredients it required. 1,000 years later, at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, nomadic people moved 10-ton stone pillars up a hill and arranged them in circles. Inside, they found massive stone vats with chemical traces of fermented grain, enough for hundreds of people. The current theory, these weren't homes. They were gathering places for ritual and feasting where shared drink created social bonds stronger than blood ties. Patrick McGovern, the leading expert on ancient alcohol, argues that humans didn't start farming for bread. Bread requires grinding, kneading, baking. Beer is simpler. Soak grain. Wait. Fermentation happens by itself. The desire for a safe, intoxicating, calorie-rich drink pushed nomadic hunters to plant and stay put. Civilization came after alcohol, not before. Yet the ancient solution had limits. The boiling worked. The fermentation added calories. But it didn't eliminate the threat entirely. It just reduced the odds. What finally killed the ancient distrust of water wasn't beer or tea, it was infrastructure. In 1908, Jersey City, New Jersey became the first place in the United States to continuously chlorinate its public water supply. Within a decade, typhoid deaths in American cities that adopted chlorination dropped by as much as 65%. For the first time in human history, you could turn a tap and drink directly from it, without brewing, boiling, or fermenting first. That habit, drinking water straight, without treating it yourself, without a second thought, is roughly 115 years old. Think about that number. For 200,000 years of human existence, you boiled or fermented everything. For 115 years, you've trusted a chain of pipes, chemicals, and maintenance schedules that have to run correctly every single day. The World Health Organization still links contaminated water to roughly 1,000 child deaths daily. In 2010, Haiti's earthquake destroyed sanitation infrastructure, sparking a cholera outbreak that killed 10,000 people. Between 2016 and 2019, Yemen experienced over 1 million suspected cholera cases, driven by the exact same collapse that hit Soho in 1854. The threat isn't extinct. It's just been pushed outside your sightline. Your grandparents boiled water out of habit. You stopped. Not because the water became less dangerous, but because someone else took over the job of boiling it for you. Invisibly, at a treatment plant you've never seen. That glass of water near you right now isn't safe, because water changed. It's safe because a chain of engineering is working correctly at this exact moment. Continuing a job that started with a monkey eating fermented fruit, a monk boiling tea leaves, a brewer heating grain, and a doctor removing a pump handle nobody believed he had the right to remove. Trust it, but know exactly what you're trusting.